Welcome back to episode number
Number
2.
number two,
Number 2.
but no name yet.
No name.
Uh, Dad Bod's podcast. I don't know.
Dad bod's gone wild.
Gone wild. That was throwback.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you want to talk about today, Evan? Mister Even. I got something.
Okay.
So, how long have you been a tech now? A PDR tech. Solid what?
So I thought I was coming up 9 years. No. What was
It's got to be 7 or 8, right?
2017 or 2025? That's 8 years. So
That's good math.
yes, good man.
Quick math.
But actually, in October of 2016 is when I started training with Anthony.
Okay.
Shout out to Anthony because he gets a little butthurt if I don't shout him out.
That is true. 22 times. Very, very proud of him for being the Dent hipster that he is, because he has all the newest and coolest stuff.
Yes. Yeah, and he got mad last time I didn't tell him, or I didn't shout him out on video, even though I think he was mentioned in the last podcast and for sure in the other video I made.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's right. In the tool time video?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be doing a tool time with Andrew later. And
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing dents, or I started training in October 2016 and then officially April 2017. So yeah, it's been 8 years. Almost
All right.
9. Coming up, 9.
All right, so I have a question for you then. As I guess, I don't know if you're you're not a rookie by any means, but in this trade, it takes a while to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
And everybody's different. Everybody's timeline is different. But on average, I would say maybe 3 to 5 years before you considered yourself a really good technician.
Definitely 3 to 5 years.
So then, in 3 to 5 years, what would you, if you were to give some advice to a newbie, somebody who's thinking about getting into the trade, or who's in it, I guess, not thinking, probably somebody who's training now and who might be even just a year in, what would you say top 5 things that you really should hone in on in the beginning to become or get to maybe, a retail tech type of level? Because there are a difference between wholesale and retail, and we'll talk about that a little bit also. So what would you say the top 5 things that you would suggest really honing in on?
I think first, obviously, it's kind of the basics. It's finding your tip. Make sure you know exactly where your tip is. Second would be board placement, because that's everything. And really knowing where your tool. Oh yeah, I guess I'd be finding your tip.
Know where your tool is. Find your tip.
Yeah.
Find it on the board. Okay,
Yeah,
go
find it
ahead.
on the board. Duck, dive, dip, dive, dodge.
Okay.
Knowing how to knock down and blend.
Okay.
And also knowing which tool to use. Honestly, that's 4, 5. Knowing the type of metal that you're going to work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why though? So I'm talking about the tips that you would say are going to really change the game for you as a technician. If you can give 5. So of course, finding your tip, that's kind of basic knowledge.
Yeah.
But getting to the next level, what do you think?
Getting to the next level is learning how to finish a dent.
Okay.
Because when you're doing wholesale or just even learning, I'm sure you remember when you learned, is you end up turning a small dent into a pizza pie.
I never did that.
You're such a liar.
I came out gangbusters.
Yes,
I was rocking and rolling.
Yeah, 'cause you're the
in
best.
Dent school. They wanted, actually, before I left Dent school, they asked me if I wanted to be a trainer.
They changed it from Dent Wizard to Dent Andrew.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know how that feels. Now, okay, where were you at anyway? You said
learning how to finish.
Okay,
learning how to finish a dent, because that's very crucial. Because especially when it's a retail, someone's personal car, you want to make the dent gone as much as possible. You don't want it to have any really resemblance that there was damage there before, if you can help it.
What else?
Huh?
I don't think you're being specific. I don't think you're getting what I'm asking. Some pro tips when you're either first starting out or trying to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Specifically, like of course, finding your tip, right?
Yeah.
You said then knowing the type of metal you're working on. Why is that important to know the type of metal you're working on?
Oh, it's sorry, but yeah, it's important because you'll know how to push, even the type of car too. Knowing how to
Give me an example.
Okay, so for example, working on, let's say, a Toyota or a Honda or any economy car, really.
I like to use midline.
Midline, okay.
Camry.
Yeah.
Altima.
Yeah, midline cars, the metal tends to be, in my opinion, a little bit more forgiving. It's a little like it's thinner. Like on Subarus, for example, metal's super thin on there.
I hate Subaru.
And you can easily mess it up. So you need to learn how to push, how to overlap your pushes to gather up the metal, and then being able to learn how to finish it out. Versus working on a German car that's steel. Both these cars, for example, will be steel. The German cars, you don't have to necessarily, not say you have to be careful. You still have to be careful no matter what. But you can push. I would say you not. How do I say it?
English.
Yeah, English would be great. But you can push, I guess, not as well. No, you'd push the same, but more of the metal comes back. That's what I'm trying to say. Versus when you're pushing like on a Subaru, you'll make a point super easy. And if you're pushing on the same car like it's a German car, the majority of the dent will come out. If this is like a dime size dent, for example, not a crazy dent, but like dime size in an open area, not on a body line, the metal will move a lot easier versus like a Subaru, Honda, Toyota, whereas it. But then when you get into aluminum, it's knowing, okay, well, now I'm working on an aluminum car or aluminum hood or panel, and for example, same size dent, but on with aluminum, you have to push a lot harder and be a lot more precise with your pushes to get the same results that you would with steel. So knowing the differentials between the two, obviously,
just say differentials.
different.
It's just difference. It's cool. I'm trying to get all fancy with people. For anybody who's super fancy, you want to know the differentials between a good salami and a bad salami tasting.
Yes.
You'll really find the differentials.
Yes.
Yes, I like that.
The differential.
You were trying to be very like.
Yeah, I was trying to be like you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you got to know the differentials.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this is a metal. Okay. And then what else? So that's why it's important to know your metal, right? Because aluminum is going to be finicky. It's going to be whatever you push is what you're going to be pushing. You got to know how to blend properly. And lower midline cars, metal paint's different versus say a Mercedes or BMW or something like that. Okay. And then any other pro tips?
I would say board placement really too. That's a big key, because where you have your board placed, I remember he taught me this. They didn't even teach me this in dent school, but I remember he taught me like you need to have your board in the same direction of the dent, because even though a dent looks like it's like this, it can have a slight crease or it can be going in a different direction. And so you have to have, starting out, you need to have your board placed in the same direction, and then learning how to cross check after that.
Yeah, cross checking is very, very important.
Yeah.
And what cross checking is the dent may look good from this angle, but then you cross check it from a different angle, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that I put a crease. Because sometimes when you're removing a dent, you could actually create ridges and creases inside the dent where you don't see it from one specific angle, but when you move your board, you're like, oh wow, okay, there's a ridge, there's a crease I didn't see, and I need it now. Because sometimes you'll be working on a dent, you're thinking, man, how come I can't finish this thing out? Well, if you cross check it, then you're seeing that you're working it maybe, horizontally, but then vertically there's something going on in there that you're not seeing until you move your board vertically, and then you see exactly what you're working on. So you may have to reopen it up and then fix that part first, because to finish a dent is very, very important. So that's why I always say, like, cross check and then move your board back.
Yeah.
Because the further back your board is, if you have your board up close and it looks like you may be finished, but then you step away and it's low. Well, if you put your board close up again and try to remove that low, you're not going to see how low it is. So moving your board back is really, really important. Yeah. Actually, that's probably one of the biggest pro tips that I would give is, make sure your board placement is on point and cross-check, move your board back to make sure that you're picking up all the lows, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. I actually do that today on that last job we just did.
Yeah, it's important to do that. Stepping away, looking at it, putting your board where you need to do it, where you need to have it so you can pick that stuff up.
I don't. Do you ever take the board away and walk to a different other
Absolutely.
side? Yeah.
Use the cloud cover. Use whatever reflections you can see, because sometimes you'll see something in those reflections that you won't see from your board, and then when you do see them, you can catch it with your board. You may see a different angle. Even using the lines on the street. Sometimes, if you're at a parking lot or if your car's on your lot have parking lines. Sometimes that type of stuff helps. Even, my shoe, as crazy as that sounds, I'll see something, I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that from that angle.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of ways where you can look at it. There are some technicians that don't even use a board with lines. They may just use like a PVC pipe. I've seen, like Sal in the North Bay. On his videos, I've seen him use just a PVC pipe.
Really?
I'm always like, man, how does he do that? But it works for him. He's a great technician.
Yeah, well, it's like that board that I had that you can't see yet.
Yeah, I hate that board.
The fire board.
That should be fired. I don't know how y'all see through that board.
Yeah, well, that's the board I learned on.
Yeah, just you're used to it.
Yeah, and then now, I think I tried using it a couple months ago, and I was like, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah,
because I got used to using the light board again.
Yeah, the light boards are phenomenal. We used to have to physically put lights behind our boards back in the day, first starting out. Yeah, the light boards are great. I still like to use my yellow board with the fog line through it. When I'm outside and it's a sunny day, I can catch everything for some reason.
Yeah.
But again, it may go back to that's how I started out when I learned with the fog lines and stuff. So that was super helpful. But
yeah,
it was good. Good. Okay, so that's some pro tips that we can definitely, anybody who's interested in even learning, the one thing that a lot of the new guys are very, very fortunate to have are a lot of veteran guys that are willing to talk about and help out. Because back when I started, man, it was nobody wanted to help anybody, and it was very secretive, even to the point where guys would pull up and put their cars in these tents and work on them where nobody could see nothing.
Wow.
Because different tools, different things like that. Matter of fact, I'll put this out there. If anybody sees this, I'm a technician from the late 90s. I'm looking for Robin Ortega. He was one of my Dent OGs when I got out of school, and he made like the best dent tools that I had ever used. And I don't know where he's at anymore after I left Dent Wizard back in the day. But if you're out there, man, hit me up. Make a comment, do something. Or if you know him, I'd love to reach out and find him. See how he's doing.
He's out here?
I don't know where he's at anymore.
Or last time
he was.
Out here in the Bay?
Him and Glenn. Glenn was him and Glenn used to work together. And they were some master technicians and phenomenal guys, great people. But there were some OGs that helped me out a lot when I was first coming up.
Yeah.
But there were others, man. They just did not want to. Nobody wanted to share. A lot of people didn't want to share.
Yeah.
Pricing, anything like that. It wasn't anything that people. It was very, very, very competitive and secretive. Nobody wanted to share anything. But nowadays, it's really cool because the majority of the guys are, putting stuff out there. Mike Toledo is a great example. Daniel Grom, even Bryce Kelly. It's like you have so many of these. Even some other guys I don't know the names, and I watch their videos. They're really getting some good content to help people that are newly figuring this trade out. I met a guy that he said he never had formal training. He just watched stuff online and
really
I don't know how he got as good as he is, but man, he might just had a knack for it.
Yeah.
But he's a really, really good technician, so that's a good thing. So long as everybody keeps the standard high, pricing where it's, competitive and not trying to undercut the next guy, then that helps the community, helps our industry a lot, keeping the integrity there. And speaking of that, so we were talking earlier about what do you think the differences are between, like a Dent and Dinger wholesaler technician versus a retail tech. And that's basically a wholesale technician is a guy who does, mainly dealer work, and used cars and things like that. And then a retail technician would be somebody who is doing personally owned vehicles, and all levels. They could be low to high line vehicles, but there is a difference. So what would you say the major differences are from, say, a retail tech versus a wholesale tech? And what would you consider yourself?
I would consider myself a retail tech that does wholesale as well.
Okay.
I would say the difference is it's like going back to like the fundamentals, like knowing how to finish a dent. Because or wholesale guys, most like if you're doing not saying wholesale people, and there's nothing wrong with wholesale at all. I mean, we do wholesale all the
No, a
time.
lot of guys make great livings doing it.
Yeah, it's good. It's staple work and works and everything. But I would say, well, wholesale, you're not looking to get perfection. All you're doing is looking to get
Volume.
yeah, car. Yeah, you're just working. You're running to the cars. You want to make them so that they're not noticeable to the
Still
someone.
clean,
Yeah,
clean work.
Yeah, clean work. Just as long as it's not noticeable to the person who's going to buy the car. Just so that you're not, if you're walking past it, you won't notice anything there. But you're not sitting there for 30, 45 minutes trying to get that last 5% out. Well, versus when you're doing retail, you're trying to do as best as you can. You're trying to get that
You
as
want to
clean
glass it out.
Yeah, you want to glass it out. Make it look like nothing has ever been there, if possible. Of course, every single dent is different, and every single car is different, and the situation. You may not be able to get everything 95 to 100% or 98%, but you'll get it close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. I was definitely a wholesale tech for a few years in the beginning. For me, you it takes a minute, and everybody's different because there's a confidence level you have to work on a car that belongs to somebody, when you're taking on retail work. Because the first thing that we do, anybody, when you see somebody fixing something of yours personally, is you're going to inspect it thoroughly, because you knew there was damage there before. You're going to always go right back to where that was. So that's the big separation from wholesale. You're walking up on a used car, you may be looking at the tires and rims and windows and not really obviously you're not going to be looking for a specific dent. You may see some damage on there, but if it's not significant, it may not bother you. But that's the big difference. And I think a confidence level you have to work on, somebody's personally owned vehicle, is one of those hurdles you have to get over. And then once you start getting in a groove of that, things start to click. It starts to become a little easier. You start to know, like we were talking about earlier, knowing metals, knowing different types of cars, knowing access.
Yeah.
I remember when Tesla first came out, it was obviously new for everybody. And, I'm calling different friends of mine and learning about access. And that, again, coming to YouTube, you find technicians that are giving you tips, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Removing the hinge in the door to get to the body line on the front door, of certain models of Tesla is huge. And now they make tools that actually have the actual bend for you to get there. So that's like, some really, really cool stuff. But again, get over the hurdle and the confidence to work on somebody's personally owned vehicle is a big thing. Because I mean, the reality is you can mess up somebody's car pretty easily if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're going about it the wrong way, using the wrong tool, not knowing the type of metal,
being lazy.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to take the time to create access.
Yeah.
All those types of things come into play. So, and they're the big separator between a retail versus a wholesale tech.
Yeah.
Again, nothing wrong with either of them. If you're just strictly retail or strictly wholesale, or you're both, nothing wrong with that. I say get out there, man, make a living, take pride in what you do, help the industry to keep moving forward and upward.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I see happening, which is cool, because it wasn't like I said, nobody shared anything back in the day. But nowadays you can find a lot online and people doing some incredible work, and me myself, I see people that taking on, almost like collision style work, and it's cool to see and watch. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate what they're doing. They're really pushing the industry forward. So many different types of tools. Man, like that's why I call my brother the Dent hipster, because he's up on all the new stuff. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to what I do. And not like I'm stubborn. I'm very open to the new techniques and things like that. It's just I don't invest like that. Like I should actually invest, but I don't. I let my brother do it, and then I test all his tools and see which ones I like.
Yeah. Or like that one that I have, the Ultra Gen one. It was Anthony had that tool, and he's like, "Oh, here, use this," and I was just like,
"Yeah, you fall in love with it."
I was like, "Oh my god, I need to buy this. This is amazing." Yeah. But yeah, I'm very similar too. I know what I have,
but you should be a Dent hipster because you're like young and still young in the game too. I'm 27 years in.
I know, but it's like I know what works for me.
Yeah.
Why, there is tools. I won't lie. There is tools I want to buy. I just like.
I want to get stand liners. I really do. I need to actually, because that is something that I see really elevating what I do. Because I'm a pretty good technician, so I can imagine the tools that are, I don't know, it's not more advanced, but I guess make the job a little easier, or they're more, forgiving, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that would enhance my ability, probably my speed too. Even though I'm pretty good about that, I think that would probably make it even quicker.
Oh, I think so for sure. You could have less cleanup work.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. I'll do that. I just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Just pull the trigger on stuff. Yeah, I think that the way that the industry is going, there's a lot of really good, technicians out there seeing other good technicians now, and it's kind of making people step their game up, which is good. And by the way, not everything comes out 100%. No matter how good you are, things could happen, or the metal doesn't want to cooperate. And some of these guys don't really show a lot of that stuff. There are some guys that do, and I applaud them for it, where they'll be like, yeah, this is like 90, this is 85. Some people want push for paint. Some people, I'm not a big fan of just make it better. I'm always like going to try to go hard in the paint and get it as close to perfect as possible. But there are some instances where, hey, the metal does not want to cooperate. It's really wonky, and you maybe only get it 80%. If the customer is happy, that's what's the most important. But always remember that your name is on that job. So if you take pride in yourself and in your name, then you want to leave a good impression, because bad news travels faster than good news. So even like with Yelp and Google and places where people can leave reviews, you want to do the best that you absolutely can to make people feel good about spending their hard-earned money with you. Because remember, we're all consumers. And the fact that we're all consumers should move you to do the best job that you can possibly do. Because if you go somewhere and you pay for something and you expect it to be some type of way and it's not, or it's way less than what you thought it was going to be, you feel bummed out that you spent money on that.
Oh, definitely. So it's funny. I owe almost every customer that I have, I'll have that conversation with them. I'll tell them, like, look.
You're like, hey, I'm not the best.
I'm not the best. I'm actually the worst PDR tech in the whole world.
But please give me a chance.
But please.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No. I'll tell them. I was like, look, man, like, hey, I want you to feel good about this. I don't want you to feel like you've been taken advantage or you've been duped or anything like that. I want you to feel like I'm good. So, and that also comes with being 100% honest too.
Yeah.
And just being upfront and just like, look, this is exactly what to expect from this dent. This is exactly what's going to happen. I can guarantee you I can get it to this point. If I can go more, I will 100% go more. But if I can't,
at least you know what you get.
Yeah. You have to set the expectation. You cannot go like, yep, I'm gonna get that 100%. And it's been in a car accident. The front end's all crunched up.
Well, that's the gypsy way, right?
Yeah.
Hey, pay me. Okay, I said 800. Give me 7. Give me 600. Just trying to get something for really nothing. I've seen some really horrible things some of those gypsies do.
Yeah.
It can be pretty bad.
Yeah. But I would say confidence is the biggest thing too, because for me, it was like, yeah, once I got my confidence up to do retail work, I was like, okay, here we go, we can get this rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
I think when was I don't know if we talked about this in the last one, but what was your aha moment for PDR?
My aha moment?
Yeah.
Probably, honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but after the first year of me consistently every single day, I'm cranking on metal and I'm trying to learn. It happened. I was at the auction where I was doing, I was billing slash training, because when you come out of school, at least for what I went to school, it's 2 months training. Then you come out of school, and if you're fortunate enough, you have some OGs that will show you the ropes and everything. And I was fortunate enough to be placed with, Glenn and Robin. Yeah, Glenn Latessa, another OG of mine. But they really, really helped me. And what it really boiled down to is understanding buckles and high points, because it was hard for me to see exactly what was low versus what was high. And it was an aha moment where I remember I was working on they gave me, because they would just give me stuff, hey, go play with that, type of thing. Kid, like, I'm like 21 years old, little young buck. But I remember I think it was Robin put me on this roof of a car, and he's all, hey, I want you to knock all the buckles down. It was like somebody walked on this thing. And I'm looking at it and I'm just seeing all these waves and everything started to blend in together. And I remember finally, it was kind of like everything kind of finally, the picture was able to be seen. And I was able to see exactly where all the buckles were, the big, bends in the metal that were holding a lot of the dents in and what have you, versus where the low points were. So I started to be able to learn how to blend properly. And when I learned how to blend and really, really manipulate the metals, when everything opened up. And like I said, it was about a year of just continuously practicing and learning, because it's very rare that you're going to get somebody who comes out the gate just killing it.
Yeah.
And knowing exactly what you're seeing. We did have a guy that was in school, man. I don't even know what happened to the guy, but he was the first person, like, he took an actual dent out, like, really good in the first, like, 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
It was like, what the heck? We were all just like, we were looking at him like he was a magician. It was just kind of crazy. But yeah, so I would say probably that after my first year, I had my aha moment. You have the little dent dreams and stuff. You start dreaming about dents.
That's so true.
It's true. But yeah, but it's a process, and it is not for the faint of heart. You have to stick to it, and it really taught me a lot of, if anything, that this trade taught me patience.
Yeah.
You got to be patient, because there's days where you're going to throw your tools and pull your hair out because things aren't going your way, or you're not. And it really comes down to, like, sometimes you think, I'm strong enough, I'm big enough, I'm going to just crank this dent out. There's sometimes you get on a dent, and because you're not knocking down first, no metal is going to move.
Yeah.
And you crank as hard as you want, and
nothing's happening.
It ain't gonna happen. Locked. Yeah, you got to release that metal, and that's where the finesse game comes into play. Now I look at a dent and I'm like, immediately calculating, okay, how am I going to approach this dent? I can knock it down here, open it up, get heat, whatever. You start to get a game plan in place, and you can knock it out relatively quick. Whereas in the beginning, that same dent will take you a day or 2 days sometimes.
Yeah.
And it still wouldn't come out as clean. So it's just a matter of really, really sticking to it and honing your skills and being patient. Being patient and learning and taking in, and not being cocky, thinking you know it all. Even as long as I've been doing this, I'm still learning, which is awesome. You never want to get stuck in something that, okay, I know everything now, because there's so many different techniques, tools, things like that coming that allow you to continuously learn, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, my aha moment, like when everything just clicked for me, was it was just being in the right position for when I was pushing on a dent.
Okay, that's controversial.
But for me,
Positioning. No, people get uptight about that.
really,
Well,
I didn't
some
know
people
that.
like to kneel down. I'm from the old school, so I lean to the side
Yeah,
and I look over back at a dent on a door. But everybody's different, you
yeah,
know.
because for me, I remember when we came out of dent school, I was working on because they had us like if you were to work on the dent, you were with your arms forward and you're leaning, and you're looking forward
Uh-huh.
and over forward.
On a
And
door.
yeah, on a door.
Okay.
And that's how they taught us. And then uh, I remember when we came back, you were just like, dude, that is horrible. That was a bad habit to learn. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, that's what they taught us. And you're like, no. He's like, try it this way. And then you told me to try it the way you did it. I remember I still kind of did the other way. And then I was working on one car and I was like, man, I can't see. I can't do it. I can't get it. Like, this
Yeah.
one dent I couldn't get. And then I was like, let me just try it the way Andrew said it. And I remember I just went over and I did this. And it was like, I was right there, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I see everything now." And then I started cranking on it, and I was like, "Wait a second, okay, that was fast. Now I'm done. Cross check, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, we go to the next one. Next one, do the same thing. Oh, okay, what's going on here?" And then it just started, it fell right into place, and that's the way now I do the dent, like door dent stuff like that. It allowed me to be able to really see and also be a lot more stable because your arms are not out and you're not, you know, you
Yeah.
have better leverage when they're in and you're closer to your body.
Yeah.
The one thing is I noticed that part of my back is a lot stronger. One side of my back is stronger than the
That
other
is
side.
true. And you'll start to, yeah, that's why you got to see like a massage therapist, or because there's one side of your body that's going to be tighter than the other too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I deal with that.
But for me, everything just clicked and like, oh, and then it made it fun because it's like, okay, I can get this out. Then the wheels start turning. Okay, if I can get this out, then I can do this, then I
Yeah.
can do that, and then once I get good enough, I'll be able to really I can start making money doing retail doing this, and then then it goes up from there. And then you're thinking, okay, I'm making all this, but that's for me. That's when it clicked.
Okay.
That's when everything clicked for me.
But Anthony is one that he likes to do it the way you were taught, and it works for him.
Yeah,
It works
what
for
do you
him.
call it, the stripper drop?
Yep, he drops it like it's hot,
Yeah, he does that.
and then he drops it low, gets his eagle on,
Yeah.
and then he he takes his dents out.
Yeah.
But that's how he makes tips. So he's very, very big on that. His customers love him. All types of reviews.
So agile.
He's super agile for his size. They always say, like, man, somebody your size never thought you can like twerk and eagle
And do
at
a
the same
backflip.
time. At the same time, and take out a dent.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So for anybody who's just beginning or learning, I mean, ask questions. Don't be shy. No question is a dumb question, and stick to it. If you really want to, I've run into so many guys over the years that have tools, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I tried it, and I decided to do something else or whatever, and in reality, it's a lot of the times because it's hard, and if you don't have some cases, if you don't have somebody to help you, then it's easy to give up. But like I said, the one guy that I met, he's out in Sacramento. I forget his name, young kid, younger than me anyway. And he was all self-taught, but he's a beast. He's really, really good from the work that I've seen him do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've never run into anybody like that before. Most of the people that don't have anybody to help them out after the fact, they usually, hang it up.
Yeah.
And then they have tools sitting in their garage,
$1,000 worth of tools.
or more. I've seen more than that.
Yeah.
I think Anthony bought a bunch of tools from somebody. They had like I think a touch-up, and chip repair business, and they decided, oh, I'm going to do dents also, and then they they had all the tools, but they didn't have the training and the know-how. Because when you see somebody do it, it looks relatively easy.
Yeah.
Until you get your hands on it, and you're like, wow, you think you're in one spot, but you're way over here in another spot.
Yeah.
That's why, like you said, knowing where the tip of your tool is so important. Because I remember doing that when I first started out. I'm looking like, what? I can't even see exactly where I'm at, So we would just drag our tip all day back and forth across the panel, and then you start to see, oh, okay, there it is, And yeah, it's a big deal.
I remember one time, it was like, I think it was like the first or second day. I think it was the first, because they had hoods for everybody, and then they had drew X's and then an O, and they do a bunch of those like on the hood and like a little area, and then they're like, okay, find your tip. This is how you find your tip. They showed us, and then they're like, okay, where the X is at, you have to make a point at each point.
Oh, that's smart.
And then where the O's at, same thing. Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, you had to do that.
The O.
No, I'm sorry. With the
O's, tic-tac-toe?
Yeah. No, where the O's was at, they put Dent in it.
Oh, I see.
And then they circled them to know where your Dent was at.
Okay.
And then so I remember when okay, you gotta put push, so you gotta make the highs, and then you go from there, right? So I remember doing that. But I remember I was pushing kind of hard, because I'm like, I want them to see that I can do it. And then after he was just like, okay, well, you're gonna learn how to knock down. I'm like, oh man, why did I push so hard? So it was like all these sharps. So I had to knock them down.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when he's like, okay, now you know where your tip is at. Now you're gonna find the dent, and then you gotta work this dent out. And I remember I spent 7 or 8 hours, almost the whole day, on a one single dent, just trying to get it out. And I got frustrated, because I'm like, it's out. And he's like, nope, I can still see it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's out. He's like, nope. I remember I was getting so frustrated.
But, yeah, because that's how it could be that way.
Yeah. He
but,
made like a square, and it had like 16 dents in it. Just hammered it. And they're tiny. Something now that would take me maybe a couple minutes.
That's honing your skills,
Yeah.
Knowing what you're getting into, knowing how to approach a dent and get them out.
Yeah. Exactly.
For sure. But you bring up a good point, you can also create more work for yourself if you're not approaching the dent properly.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's never fun. Because then you're thinking, okay, cool, I'm going to make X amount of dollars in 15, 20 minutes, and then you make a mistake, and now you created another 20, 30-minute job that wasn't there beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like Subarus. Because I remember one time I'm in a Subaru door, and I'm trying to go through some glue with my whale tail. Regular, little like dime-sized dent, no big deal. But cutting the glue from the brace to get to the dent, I created this major sharp ridge. And that ridge, to get it out, because the metal's so thin, it was like tin foil. And to get it out, I had to create another dent, and then I had to rework that crease.
Yeah.
And it took me like 2 hours on a job that I was making just what it was to fix a small little dent.
Yeah.
And I should have been in and out in like 15 minutes. And then I'm sitting there for 2 hours because I created way more work, and so that's why it's like, you got to, even like people making pushes, you can, what we call it anyway, pizza, you pizza up a dent where you got all this garbage in there. You got to go clean it up. Again, time consuming and pointless. I go this way? No. So yeah, you got to be conscious of those things, because they can mess you up.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Superman movie?
I have not.
Don't. It's the stupidest movie
You want to say something else?
ever. It is so dumb. It's the corniest Superman I think I've ever seen. Yeah, just horrible. They brought did you know there's Superdog, right?
No, I didn't know about that. Is that in the comic books?
I think it's in the comic books. But they brought this Superdog, and it was like dumb, not smart. And you would think, okay, you're a Superdog, you can fly, you should be pretty smart. But he was just like annoying through the whole thing. And then, yeah, it was just everything was like CGI, and you could tell there's a scene where everything's getting blown up. And this is the one thing I hate about superhero movies is when I watch the movies in my old brain and they're destroying like cities. I'm always thinking, who's gonna clean that up? who's gonna hey, who's gonna rebuild those buildings and the streets you just tore up for no reason?
Yeah.
And I'm always irritated because, and then I always look at the people. Why are you standing around and watching destruction happen in front of you? And then there's this one scene where Superman is in the city and there's this fight going on. And I don't know, this big old thing like starts tearing stuff up and like this explosion happens. And he saves this little girl. They do it just for like a gratuitous action scene, I guess, for him to zoom in and save this girl and block
crazy.
her.
Yeah.
Where's the girl's parents? Why is she out there by herself? And Superman has to come and save her. It's the stupidest thing.
I can
like he didn't have to stand there. First of all, if he's faster than a speeding bullet, he could have picked her up and just taken her away. But he stands there and he takes all the heat and everything. Yeah. It was just this dumb. And then the black guy in the movie got extra black as the movie went on and started talking like a 70s, what are those movies called? The blaxploitation films?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I didn't understand the movie at all. I thought it was cornball, and I highly suggest not watching it.
Okay.
Unless you want to hate watch something.
No.
Which I ended up doing because I got into the movie and I'm like, this is dumb, but I ended up hate watching the whole movie.
Yeah. I'm good. I can spend my time.
I take it back. Watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, watch it because it ends up being a good comedy.
But you went to go watch it in theaters?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do not.
At least you didn't spend money.
I haven't watched what was the last movie I saw in the theater? I think my kids wanted to go watch something. I don't even remember what it was. It's rare that I go to the movie theaters anymore. Movies aren't what they used to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like they don't. I really don't feel like there's any good movies out right now, or there hasn't been anything good that's come out lately. Like not like. I would even say, pre-pandemic. I feel like after the pandemic, there's been some movies that come out that are like pretty good, but there's nothing that's been like, wow, like I need to go watch this.
Yeah.
I think what did we watch? The movie that I really, really enjoyed that we did go watch, that was a couple years ago, was Top Gun Maverick.
That might have been the last movie I saw at a theater, actually. No, was it? I do remember seeing that in the theater, though.
That was
pretty good.
That was a great movie, and it was good because of the action scenes, and it was like mostly because I think Tom Cruise did most of his scenes.
That's right. You told me you loved the beach scene, right? You were like, "Hey, bro, you gotta see this movie," and I was like, "Why?" Evan, you were like, "There's a beach scene where they play football," and you were just like,
"It's."
And I was like, "Really?"
And defense at the same time.
You kept telling me like that's your favorite part, and I'm like, "Okay." Then I went and saw it, and I was like, it made me kind of question some things. But then I was like, "Oh, he's married, got a kid. Maybe he's from Atlanta. I don't know.
Maybe he's from Atlanta.
I have no idea." And you always say like, "Hey, keep it on the down low." So I was like, "Okay." But yeah, that was a good movie. That was pretty good. But yeah, besides that, I honestly can't remember the last movie I saw.
I didn't see any of the Mission Impossibles in theaters. This last one. But like I saw, what movie was stupid? Was absolutely stupid? Was the last Fast and the Furious.
Did you say Fast and the Furious?
I said Fast and the Furious.
You said with a T.
Whatever it is.
Furious.
Yeah.
Man, they all got stupid after like the third one, I think. Think about how many there are, huh?
Did you watch the last one?
I think I did. Just because was that the Jason Momoa one?
Yeah, and he's like driving down the dam.
It was so
it's like
stupid.
On fire. Jeez.
Everything that was impossible was possible. Yeah, they jumped the shark after like the second or third one.
Yeah,
it was pretty brutal.
Yeah,
and like they became people that just saved the world. How?
Well, no, Vin Diesel became a superhero.
Yeah, it's like you guys were just some dudes from LA that raced cars and worked on cars. And now you're like the government wants you because your skills are so impeccable.
Yeah.
Okay.
What for me? What was the biggest? Like, all right, dude, you guys need to calm down. It was the one with Jason Statham.
Was that The Rock and Jason Statham, or
Yeah,
just
no, no, no. It was no, it was the one. It was the Fast and Furious with Jason Statham and The Rock.
okay?
But Jason Statham was fighting Vin Diesel. They're in a parking garage, and then the ground started to crack around
Yes.
Jason Statham, and then Vin Diesel just stomps, and then the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
Yeah.
like that's
He's Godzilla now.
yeah, you're Godzilla. And then the scene where The Rock, he's like, it's time for Daddy to go to work, and then he like breaks open his cast after having a broken arm.
Oh yeah.
But I heard they don't like each other.
Who?
The Rock and
Oh yeah, that was a rumor. I don't know. Don't care.
yeah, but yeah, it's just movies are definitely not what they used to be.
Now you know what I noticed too. I was telling my wife that a lot of the movies from back in the day, you can tell they were filmed in real places. Like if they were filmed in New York, you could tell, man, that's okay. They're filming in New York. Even as far back as like the movie Big. I don't know if you ever saw it. With Tom
I've
Hanks.
seen bits and pieces of it.
But they're actually filming in those places. And now I watched this movie the other day on Netflix. Everything you can tell was like AI or CGI, a big set. Like it was just crazy to see it because the vibe, the feeling is off. You feel like you're watching. It sounds weird to say, but you're watching a movie. Whereas back in the day, it felt like movies took you places.
Got it.
You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I will say there's a what is that show called? I can't think of it. Anyways, there are some shows, not movies, series like on Netflix or whatever that they really, really do good because maybe I don't know why, but they actually film in real places and like they don't look like movie sets, they don't look like CGI.
Yeah,
has a grittier vibe to it, and I think it makes the shows come alive a lot more. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's what I think about.
and I think a lot of that movies now, they're making them like when they are CGI. It's not the same CGI as like even 10 years ago, because and there's some stuff you're just like, dude, that looks horrible. Like what I think was a great CGI movie is Transformers, the original with the Shia LaBeouf.
Yep, those are pretty good
because it looked legit. Like all the robots, it didn't look like it. Like you knew it was fake, but you didn't look like it was fake.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, yeah.
I haven't seen any of the other ones with Mark Wahlberg. I kind of got after Shia LaBeouf left.
Yeah, that's your guy.
No, I don't know. I just wasn't interested after that. So I think it was like after the after 4, it's like after 3 movies, it's like okay, you hang it up. It's kind of like the Fast and Furious. You don't need to make that many movies. Like
Rocky was pretty good all the way through.
Which one?
All the Rockies. I thought so.
I still, I tried watching the first one.
Oh, you've never seen Rocky?
I watched the first one. I was watching bits and pieces of it. I know. I started watching it, and then I was like, dude, this guy's an idiot. I can't watch this. I feel dumb watching this. What are you talking about? Come on, you like my sweater? You sit on my couch?
My sweater? What movie were you watching?
That was it was that one.
I don't think you were watching the same movie.
What's the girl's name?
Adrian.
Hey, you want to sit on my couch? It's cool, man. It's cool. Well, I like
totally it. Different movie.
Whatever, dude.
I don't think you're.
But it's just like, like, shut up.
That's messed up. He just wasn't educated. He was punchy. He had a bad puncher, or what do they call it? A relaxed brain, he said.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, man, this is stupid. I watched it on the plane. I was like, this is stupid.
Where were you going?
Coming back from Puerto Rico.
Oh, is that your Bad Bunny concert?
Yes.
Bad Bunnies.
Yes.
What do you think about him doing the Super Bowl?
It's pretty cool.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am, definitely. I am definitely excited.
Are you going to turn it up loud and dance?
Yes. 100%. No, it was cool. I really enjoyed his live concert. I feel like he definitely put it down for Puerto Rico.
That's your roots, right? You're Puerto Rican.
Yeah, homemade.
Yeah.
Homegrown. But yeah, those movies though, man. I don't know. moves are interesting though. But all right, well, that was it for this episode of No Name.
The No Name podcast so
No
far.
Name. No Name. Like, subscribe, and check us out on the next one. Peace.